Okay, folks, in Alhambra, we are playing basically a builder foreman for the town. Okay, we'll be buying and building tiles and collecting money and rearranging our tiles to build the best Alhambra we can to score as many points as we can at the end of the game. Alright, now to set up Alhambra, first thing we're going to do is place the score table and building market out within easy reach of everybody. Next, each player is going to take one of these reserve boards, which also has the different scoring points for the different rounds on them. Each player will also take one of these starting tiles, which depict the lion fountains, and they will also take two markers of the color of their choice, placing one on the lion fountain and the other one on this space before the one on the scoreboard. Now, in a two-player game, there's going to be a third dummy player called Dirk, or Doug as Jen calls it. We're also going to place one marker for him on the scoreboard. We'll return any unused reserve board starting tiles and player pawns to the box. They will not be used for the game. Next, there are 6 colors of tiles. Okay, and there's numerous tiles of each color. We are going to take the bag and place all these tiles in the bag and give that bag a shuffle. Okay, once we gave the bag a shuffle, we're going to draw 4 of these tiles out, place them face up on the building tile here. Okay, and we're going to go from spot 1 to 4 in ascending order, drawing one tile at a time. Okay, next, and this is only used for a 2-player game, we're going to draw 6 tiles out randomly for Dirk and set them aside. Okay, I'll get into how these work during the overview part, but for now, we're just going to lay 6 to the side. Next, we're going to deal with the money cards. Now, there are 4 different types of money cards, 4 different sets that range from 1 to 9 in blue, green, orange, and yellow. Okay, now each number has 3 copies of that number. In a 2-player game, we are going to take one number value of each card in each set and return them to the box. Okay, this is only for a 2-player game. So we take out 1 yellow 1, 1 yellow 2, etc. And then we move on to orange, green, and blue and do the same thing. Okay, after we're done that, we're going to give our deck of money cards here a shuffle. And then we're going to deal out cards to each player one at a time to get a sum of 20 or greater. Okay, and that'll determine who the first player is. So Jen, the yellow player here, has 20. We'll stop, and we'll go on to me, the green player, and do the same thing until the sum is 20 or greater. Okay, so now Jen has 20 and I have 20. It's a tie. To break the tie to see who goes first, what we do is see the person who has the least amount of cards. In this case, it's me. If it's still tied in, then you would go with the youngest player. Okay, this is the only time the money cards are face up for opponents to see, and the other time they're held in your hand. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to take the rest of the money deck and we're going to divide it into 5 equal piles. Once we've done that, we're going to take the 2 scorecards. There's an A scorecard and a B scorecard. Okay, we're going to take the A scorecard and place it in the 2nd pile, and the B scorecard and place it in the 4th pile, and then we're going to give those piles a shuffle. Okay, and then we're going to stack these piles where the 5th pile is on the bottom and the 1st pile is on the top. Then we're going to lay out 4 cards for the bank, so to speak, from this money pile, and you are now ready to play Alhambra. On a player's turn in Alhambra, they must do one of 3 things. They can either take money, buy a building, and place it in your Alhambra, or rearrange your Alhambra. And we'll get into the rearrangement in a minute. Alright, so with money, the player can choose 1 card if it is a value of 5 or greater and put it in their hand. If there is 2 cards or more less than a value of 5, then you can take multiple cards and place those cards in your hand. Okay, next option is you can buy one of these buildings out of the market here. Now, the color of the tile doesn't matter with buying. It's the color that the tile corresponds with on the board. So here, this white tile here, the tower I believe, is yellow, and you would need 9 money of yellow to buy it. Okay, and the money's indicated on the bottom right corner of the card. Alright, so say I want to buy this red building here. It costs 8 blue money. Okay. I have a 7 blue and a 3 blue. I have enough to buy it. It's more than 8. I would discard the cards and put the tiles near my Alhambra, and I'll get into how to build Alhambra in a minute. Alright. So that would be the end of the turn if I did not have exact change. On the other hand, if I did have exact change for a building, so say I have this 7 green here, which is the cost of this red tile here, I would buy the tile for 7, put it near my Alhambra, and then I could do another action. Okay, so I could take money, or I could buy another building if I wanted to. Alright, say I decide to buy the blue building here for 10 and it's worth 8, so that is not exact change. That would end my turn for the round. Okay, I could also reconstruct if I had tiles there to do so, or built out the Alhambra. Okay, so now I have these 2 tiles. I could build my Alhambra. There's a couple rules in building your Alhambra. First thing is, you can never place a tile catty-corner to another tile. They must be flat against another tile. Okay, the edges must match. So here we have an open edge, here we have an open edge, and here's a wall edge, that black border. Okay, so I could place the tile like this, but I could not place the tile like that. Okay, which brings me to the next rule is all the Alhambra tiles, the building tiles, must face the same direction. Okay, so in this Alhambra, all the tiles must have the roofs of the buildings facing this way and the base facing that way. Now, another rule is I cannot build with an open space. Okay, so I could not build this. This would be illegal. You can build your Alhambras with a wall against another wall, like this, but these walls would not be scored during the scoring rounds, and we'll get into that in a minute. You must be able to walk from one point in your Alhambra to another point in your Alhambra unobstructed. Now, alternatively, instead of buying one of these tiles and place it in your Alhambra, you can place it on your reserve board and use it at a later time. And you can do this as many times as you want to. Okay, so that's building. Next, we get into redesigning your Alhambra. Okay, that's the final action. In redesigning, you could take a tile from your reserve board and place it in your Alhambra. Okay, you could also take a tile from your Alhambra and place it on your reserve board. Or you can swap a tile from your reserve board to your Alhambra, but the tile being placed must go in the exact place that the tile you swapped with is in. Okay, so there's the 3 actions you can do. You can take money, you can buy a building. If you have exact change, you could do another turn, another action. You could do this up to 5 times theoretically. You could also redesign your Alhambra. At the end of your turn, you will refill any money in the bank and also refill the building tiles in the market in the order that they need to be filled. So here I'd fill 2 and then 3. Okay, if 1 was bought, then I'd build 1 and then 2 or 3. Okay, now this will go on until we come to a scoring round. Now there's 3 scoring rounds in the game. The first 2 are dictated by the scoring cards in the deck here. The last one is dictated by when you go to fill the building market and you do not have enough tiles to do so. Okay, so at the end of the player's turn, if they flip cards over to refill the bank and the scoring card comes up, either A or B, the first or second one, players will immediately stop and score. As you can see, the first scoring marker only cares about first place on how many particular types of buildings that player has. And it's also on the reserve board. So the first one here will dictate how many points each player will get. Okay, now in a 2-player game, Dirks has these tiles set off to the side. That is only for scoring. Okay, he does not have any other action in the game other than scoring, and he does not score walls, whereas the other players do. Alright, so first thing you would do is go down the list and see who has the most of each different type of building. So here, for the blue buildings, Dirk has 1. I do not have any. Jen has 3. Jen would get 1 point because she has the most blue buildings. Okay. Now we move down to red and so on. Alright, now if there is ever a tie in the first round, you would divide that number of points awarded by the players who have the tie. So let's see here. For white, Jen and I both have 2 white buildings. Dirk only has 1. So Jen and I are tied for first place for the white buildings. There's 4 points awarded for white. Me and Jen would only get 2 points each. During scoring, any tiles in your reserve do not count towards your points. Okay? Once you have gone down the number of buildings for each type of building and awarded points for that, you would then count how many walls you have in your Alhambra that connect, and you would get 1 point for each segment of the wall. Okay? And again, these inner walls where you butt up against another type of wall in your Alhambra do not count. It's only the outer edge. So here, Jen will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points. Okay, both of them are 6. You get the points for the longest. In this case, it's 6 either way. So she get an additional 6 points. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would get 9 points. And again, Dirk doesn't score points on the wall. Okay, and then you would move on to the next round. You would fill the bank with any money cards missing. You would fill the board with any tiles missing. And then only in a 2-player game, Dirk here would get 6 more tiles at the beginning of the second round of scoring. Okay, and then you would move on to the second round of scoring. Okay, continuing either buying money, building, or redesigning your Alhambra until you come up to the second scorecard. Okay, now the second scorecard works a little differently. We have a first and second place on the second scorecard. So you would go down a line seeing who has the most of each particular type of building. So here, Jen still has 3. She has first place, so she would get 8 points. Whereas Dirk has second place, so he would get 1 point. I do not have any blue buildings, so I would not get any points. In the case of a tie, like we have here with the white buildings again, you would take the different places that are involved in the tie. So here, Jen has 2 white tiles. I have 2 white tiles. Dirk has 1. All right, so Jen and I are tied for first. We'd combine first and second place, give it up to 15, and then we'd divide by 2, round it down, which is 7. So we would each get 7 points. Okay, and we go down the list doing each color like that until everybody's awarded their points. Then again, you would do the walls. Again, Dirk doesn't get any points for walls. Alright, and then we continue on until the final scoring round. Now, during the final scoring round, to set up for the next round, you would replenish any money or buildings on the board. And then, instead of just pulling 6 tiles out for Dirk and setting them aside, what we would do is take the remaining tiles and split them up into 3 groups and take a third of those tiles and give those to Dirk, placing the rest of the tiles back in the bag for our use. Okay, and then we would continue until you can no longer draw from the bag to fully replenish the market. Okay, you would draw as many tiles as you can to refill the market, placing them from 1 to 4 again. And when that no longer happens, the end of the game is triggered. Now, at the end of the game, players will auction off these tiles, basically. So I would say I have 7 yellow money. Jen would say I don't have any, so I would get the white tile and I could place it in my Alhambra. Okay, and then Jen would do the same. We'd go back and forth the same for like the green tile. Jen has 4 rather. I have 3. Jen wins that auction. She'd get the green tile and she could place it somewhere in Alhambra if she can, or just on the reserve board. Another option is she could place it to Dirk. Okay, and basically try to prevent me from getting the majority of one different type of tile. Alright, and then that would go on until all tiles are bought and placed. Okay, and then we go on the final scoring, which works similarly to the second stage of scoring. The person with the most would get the most points in that type of building. Second place would get the second, and third would get the third. If there's a tie, you would split the difference between the sum of the two places. So we'll go back to white. I have 2, or Jen has 2 whites here. I have 3, and Dirk has 2 white tiles. So I would get the majority for the white, which would give me 19 points. Whereas Jen and Dirk have 2 white buildings in their Alhambras. So they would split the difference between second and third place, which would bring them up to 15 divided by 2 is 7. And then again, you would award points for the most continuous wall. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. And that is how you play Alhambra.